Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here, Vicente Scali, this time with yet another opinion. This time, religion and free will. Of course, I don't want to pretend to be the owner of the truth, nor do I want to sell smoke. I just want to express a concept that many consider relative, because truth is a relative concept. Christians think that we have free will, and that God will judge us for our decisions. But scientists, on the other hand, say that human beings are biological machines. Who is right? Religious people think that they have the freedom they want, but they are wrong. Free will only exists within the parameters assigned by society. Therefore, I can only choose if they give me permission. I once read somewhere, and I don't remember where, and that's why I apologize. Something like, "Hello? Can I come in? Who is it? "In Jesus, I've come to save you." To save me from whom? From me, and where am I going to send you if you don't listen to me? Divine freedom, free will, and the promises of eternal life. What else can we expect from the other divine offerings? Note that politicians use the same method to deceive those who do not think and only believe because air is free. They, the believing people, because that is why they are called that, those who listen and believe. Are they naive people, stupid people, or do they suffer from infantilism? I know it is controversial, and someone says that they choose as they please. But I ask that person to look at where that decision came from. If I can choose chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla, but perhaps an advertisement I saw on television influenced me, it is in the subconscious and guides my steps without me realizing it. If advertisements did not have an influence on a person's psyche, large companies would not spend so much money on them. Now, I will tell you how I was formed and why I make the decisions I make. One day, a long time ago, a sperm penetrated my mother's egg, a zygote was formed, and little by little I began to exist, breathe, move, and need food. My brain was empty like a new piggy bank. Others were responsible for my mind developing because I was not born intelligent, only with potential. Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." What he did not say is that to think it is necessary to know a language. Yes, the one my mother taught me with the help of school, the idiosyncrasy and culture of where she already lived. And what am I to blame for all that? I didn't ask for anything, but they fed me as they wanted. They even gave me genes that aren't necessarily good, and then they tell me that I was born free. Oh, of course I didn't have chains or handcuffs. The ear for B I wasn't looking for me. A tree exists, but it doesn't know any language, it isn't conscious, and it doesn't choose. He who says that he freely chooses whatever he wants doesn't consider that he has to think first. And if he doesn't think it's worse, because he chose or reacted in an instantaneous way totally dictated by the subconscious. Imagine a man in traffic. Someone honks, and this angry man gets out of his car because he wants to hit him. Isn't that an instantaneous way of reacting guided or prompted by the unconscious? Or is it a controlled decision? Of course not, but his instinct was stronger. The human brain depends on the front part to think intelligently. If due to the fates of life it was damaged, its anatomy changes and its ability to choose as well. I think, therefore I am. A tree exists, but it doesn't know it because it doesn't think. On the other hand, humans think. But those thoughts depend on many factors that influence the decisions we make. Where is free will? We cannot be totally free because we also depend on a physical body with needs. And when it comes to choosing, there is no other option than to satisfy our insufficiencies, whether physical, biological, or psychological. The drug addict, alcoholic, or inveterate gambler is a slave to his addiction and his hardships that control his thoughts and, therefore, his decisions. Wake up, friend. Life is not as easy as they paint it, and if you knew the circumstances that made these people seek refuge in these activities, you would change your mind. Do you know that the brain changes its anatomy according to the thoughts and experiences lived? Think that a 10-year-old girl who was raped grows the same way, that her brain was not modified by the experience. Of course, that is how the anatomy of the brain changes, and therefore your way of thinking. Do not judge if you do not want to be judged. If you choose not to conceptualize it, is because the lack of knowledge makes you think differently, and your action, of judging, was influenced by that. But how are we not going to judge so we can go through life without judging? And I marry the first woman who comes my way. We can judge and think that we chose. But did my wife do what I wanted? What freedom are you talking about? I choose chocolate ice cream because I like it, and it is based on my physical need, the already known flavor, and my palate made me choose that taste. Someone can say that if he wants, he can choose another taste. Of course, that is disobeying a need dominated simply by a rebellious attitude, and therefore, it was not a free choice. There is always something or someone that influences our decisions. It is good that every time we make a decision, we investigate why we have done it, and thus, we will find that that resolution was influenced by something. If the verdict was bad, we will know where it originated. If it was good, surely something led it to satisfy a psychological need dictated by the subconscious. And free will? It is nothing more than a chimera invented by religions that take away all freedom of choice, to instill an inflexible doctrine. They say, if you do not believe like this, you will go to hell. And obviously, nobody wants to go to hell. Therefore, they make a decision that was already made by someone else. If we did not know what it is like to burn, we would not be afraid of the fire that Satan consumes with his sulfur. It is easier to deceive a person than to convince him that he was deceived. Phrase borrowed from the American writer Mark Twain. Nobody wants to accept that we are a biological computer programmed by society because it makes us feel less human. And what about intelligence and free expression? They depend on many factors beyond our control. Although I admit that sometimes we can choose freely, but within the parameters established by society and physical and psychological needs, I choose a strip of barbecue while a native Australian eats a worm and a lizard. If that is choosing what one wants, someone explain it to me, because it is obvious that the Aborigines' circumstances were not like mine. Let's conclude because the speech was long, right? Of course, I know that they understood me, but one never knows. Well, here I leave you something to think about, and at no time do I think that I am the owner of the truth. But like every human being, I have the right to my opinion. Many will think differently, and that is beautiful, because that is how we learn from each other. In any case, my feeling is based on what I deduce from life and what I was taught, because when I was born, I knew nothing. My brain was empty. Thanks to other people, I learned things. Therefore, the decision to express this concept was not entirely free, but was driven by a desire.